Ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and we have decided we're going to go light on the politics today.
Very light on politics. We're talking big money stuff.
Talking
big business.
Big business. And by the way we're talking on today's episode, you would think there's no such thing as job losses, pandemic, no travel, none of it.
People are minting money.
If you're either making money in the stock market or baseball cards, everyone's making money.
Everyone's making money except
Pete.
Yeah.
Pete's the big loser.
And we started this episode with a little story about Pete.
Yeah.
And you're going to learn about the highs and lows of Pete. This is like if you guys ever watched, what are those shows called? Like Dirty Money, where they talk about people living the high life and buying yachts. And then when they crash, it all starts to get weird. Talk about that. Pete, Dirty Money on this episode.
Yeah.
And then we also talk towards the middle of the episode how Pete plans to make up for his losses.
Yes.
Because he has a new racket here that is, yes, it is criminal.
It's criminal.
But it seems more up his alley.
Up his alley, it could work.
It's more doable. This
it takes
is like a guarantee.
Yeah. Brute strength and a pickup truck, and you got this one
That's
covered.
what I was built on, man. That's what I was born on.
We're going to take a break a little bit on politics here. We're going to talk about a lot of other things. But one very important thing to talk about. We got new merch.
Yes.
Group Chat University is the theme. You know, a lot of people always reach out to us and they said, hey, when are you guys going to start some sort of online classes? When are you going to start to blah, blah, blah? I've learned so much from Group Chat. I've learned more from Group Chat than the schooling that I had.
Yes. And all that debt you've piled up.
And all that freaking debt you've piled up. And you know what? The answer is we're not going to start an online university anytime in the near future. And we got some more debt for you to pile up because we got new merch and it's all a Group Chat University theme.
Slide that credit card.
Yeah.
Credit card debt.
Swipe it.
Go ahead, just add it to the
PayPal,
student
credit
loan
card,
debt.
whatever you want.
Yeah.
Here's the good news. Our college is free. It's called a podcast 3 days a week.
Yes.
But what we would like to ask is that you rep the university that you learn the most from. Buy a shirt.
Yeah.
Buy a hoodie.
It's great quality.
Yes.
The
We collabed with,
MenloHouse.com. It is really great quality.
yes.
Is it, when is it launching?
Is it launching Friday morning?
It launches Friday morning. So the MenloHouse.com. Make sure you head over there. It is really great quality. The hoodies are really great.
Yeah.
It's starting to get chilly, so maybe you buy one of those. But it's all modeled by the Group Chat team.
Is guaranteed COVID-free?
Yes.
And guaranteed to make you look just a little bit smarter. I'd say it adds about 5 to 7 IQ points to your general look.
It's very swaggy. It's not like that stupid merch you see all over the place nowadays.
other
With all
shit
these stupid
podcasts.
YouTubers and stupid podcasters. This shit's actually cool.
Yeah, and if you want to walk around and see who else is in the know, find your fellow Cathys a little easier.
Yeah.
Buy a shirt. You can walk up and say, hey, fuck Peloton, right? And they'll be like, yeah, fuck Peloton. And
Yeah.
That's sick.
Fuck Pete.
I have a lot to talk about.
Pete's an idiot, right? Yep, Pete's an idiot.
All right.
We're best friends.
At least we can agree on something.
There you go. In this divisive world, we can all agree that Pete's an idiot.
And I want to test something.
Yes.
So rate and review us 5 stars
Yes,
in
please.
iTunes. And leave a question if you want business advice, financial advice,
Yes.
relationship advice.
Okay. Where are they putting those? In the
In the
comments?
iTunes review.
Okay.
5 stars, ask a question.
So iTunes, you can also do it, I think, on the podcast app on your phone. I think it lets you.
Yes.
If I'm wrong, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
you can.
Okay.
You can.
Okay, so go there, 5 stars, and then, ask a question. We do get, obviously, an enormous amount of questions. It's hard to go through them all. We're going to look at those ones.
We're going to prioritize those.
Yep. And last but not least, make sure you check out Modern Prescription. That's the other podcast, just added to the Group Chat family. Jeff Toll and Deepak. I'm talking about all things health. Look, going to the doctor is a little daunting.
Yeah.
Sometimes you feel like they're lying to you. Sometimes you feel like they're telling you that you should be scared of some shit that maybe you shouldn't. We're going to shoot you straight here on Modern Prescription.
They're great. They're smart. They're funny. It's perfect for people that do care about their health and wellness and want it in like a fun, digestible way. So check it out.
Yeah, we're lucky because Jeff is a good friend of ours, and so he shoots us straight. He'll tell you, like, yeah, you should be worried about that. Chill out. Or, like, nobody really cares about that one. So that's what we're going to do here on Modern Prescription.
Plus, they also give like a really great side to a lot of the popular news from a medical standpoint.
Oh.
So that's always cool. We talk about it from more of a pop culture kind of our side. They kind of give a little bit of a different view from a medical side.
And
So-
Deepak has the best alcohol collection of anyone
Yes.
I know.
Yeah.
There you go.
So he must be doing well.
Yes. You trust a guy like that.
Plastic surgeon, Beverly Hills. Seems fine.
Seems like a good guy.
And Brian Toll hosted Kendall Jenner's party, and they give some information about that on the podcast that came out today.
That party got a little press.
Yes.
I think they're gonna set it
some superstar
straight.
Vibes. Yeah.
Maybe it was safer than people thought.
That's what we get to learn about. All right. So check that out. Let's get into it.
Cash.
Ladies and gentlemen, Group Chat.
Cash.
It's $1 trillion. Hot
Guys, you want to know what? Let's just chill on the politics for a minute.
Wow.
I'm saying it.
I'll be honest. The last 48 hours, I toned down my Twitter, did not turn on the news once.
Yep.
I don't give a fuck.
Enough's enough.
Who won? Who lost? I don't care anymore.
I haven't watched CNN since Saturday.
Yeah.
You want the election, Donald? Take it.
See, Donald, maybe they did steal it. I don't fucking care anymore. We're kidding, of course. So listen, we know Joe Biden won, Kamala. There's going to be a bunch of shit going on. We got it, right? And don't get me wrong, we will keep you updated. But I do think I was proud of our last episode. Thought we did a good job at sharing opinions and thoughts, whatever. But that being said, topic 1 of 15 took the whole episode.
Yeah.
That's the power of politics to just suck
the life out of you.
the life out of you. So,
And yeah, I don't really want to engage in politics talk anymore because I think we never get anywhere.
no. That's the thing about politics.
Yeah, you just
kind of as
literally,
a whole.
it's like the whole industry is based on
Not getting
arguing
anywhere.
and not actually accomplishing anything.
Yes,
and
that
when you
is
talk
fun.
about politics, it's interesting. My wife made a rule when we started dating with all of our families.
Yeah, good rule.
No politics ever allowed to be discussed on any topic ever.
Yep. Isn't it wild that there's no other topic that can get people that pissed?
And guess what? We've never, ever, I've been with her now dating, 10 years.
Yep.
It's like crazy.
Yeah, you've done a really good job because that could have torn the marriage apart.
Yeah, it just, you just never know.
You
And I
never
think,
know. It's a good rule because there's nothing. You can talk about sports because you want to know what I think you can talk about? You know what? Fuck it. We're talking about politics again. Okay, let's move on.
Let's move on. I was like, what happened? I had like 6 opinions that I kept my mouth shut because I was like, we're not talking
Talk for an
politics.
hour about we're not talking about politics. Okay. Moving on. I want to talk about
Yeah, let's just move
I
on.
want to talk about Pete.
Oof.
Now, to our diehard listeners, you saw that a couple weeks ago we alluded to the fact that Pete was out of the office on some sort of vacay, and that he had an interaction with a fan, we'll say, that was a little suspect. So I just want to go ahead and say, listen, we didn't get to blow it up as much as we would have. The moment's over now. But what happened was a friend of ours apparently ran into Pete on just a little vacation, little day off, at a very nice restaurant up in Santa Barbara.
The nicest hotel in Santa Barbara.
The nicest hotel in Santa Barbara. Let's get to the point.
Yeah.
And he said, hey, are you Pete? Kind of messing with him. He's our friend, very close friend. Are you Pete? And apparently Pete said, oh, here we go again.
And rolled his eyes.
And rolled his eyes at the nicest restaurant in Santa Barbara. That is the Pete that we don't know.
Yeah.
Now, the reason why I told that whole story, so we were going to blow that out of proportion. We're going to tell everyone how crazy that was. That is absolutely insane. And Pete, I don't know what happened to you, man. I remember when you were just a good, happy kid from Wisconsin.
He used to be quiet. He used to
looking
not
for
have a mic.
opportunity. Yeah. You're
Yeah.
like, hey, aren't you that guy from MTV? I'm so happy to be here.
Can I get a big
I
selfie
love
with
Pete.
you?
Can I get a
Pete, can we make another vlog? I love vlogging for you, D. Look at you now. The point is, I think it's all coming to an end.
It's crashed.
Pete was riding high. It turns out. We're
Yeah.
like, how is Pete affording this? The stock market.
Yes.
These guys have been making low-key stock trades, affording dinners at nice hotels, but it's over.
It's over.
It's over.
So
You know how much?
Pete's
You know how
big
much that
bet-
hotel was? Was it $2,000 a night?
Yeah.
Easy.
No problem.
Not
It was
anymore.
easy then when Datadog up.
Yeah.
Now, not so
So
good.
Pete's prime jewel,
Yeah.
Datadog,
Yeah.
is taking a dump. And
I
we just
mean-
learned Pete has lost half of his
His
investment.
net worth. His net worth.
Oh my God! They just reported earnings up for projected way above.
But they're down 10% in after
I know.
hours.
What the fuck? They beat it by 400%.
So what's
How does
all
this shit
mean?
work?
What's it?
I don't get this. It's like 1 + 1 = 6 here, and it just there's
Stop.
nothing.
Or -6.
Stocks
Yes,
are.
I don't know.
Stocks reflect the future, not the past. Do you understand
Right?
that?
Yes.
So
Right. Future's bright. I'm saying.
Well, obviously
they
not.
may be saying otherwise.
The present looks bright.
Jesus Christ.
Buy the dip. Buy the dip.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to buy more. I bought the last dip. I keep buying the dip, and it just keeps going lower and lower. I feel like I don't get that. I
Stop
just,
buying the spinach dip at all these nice restaurants and buy the
Maybe
freaking
I'll-
Datadog dip.
Here's the problem with the stock market, Pete. It's a rigged game.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I know.
People like you are losers.
You have no shot, Pete. Sorry.
I did it at a second.
And I'll tell
Pete's
you.
like where they make the money.
Yes,
right?
and I'll give you the best
like a
example.
casino.
Yeah.
This is the conspiracy that I've been brewing up for the last week.
I love a good conspiracy. Come on, Alex Jones.
Ready?
Yeah.
Is this going to be flagged by Twitter?
Is this QAnon or what do we got?
It's a little mix of everything.
Cabal of pedophilia?
Cabal, cable, whatever.
Twitter's taking us down. Go ahead.
Monday morning.
Yeah.
Pfizer. Everyone knows Pfizer, big pharmaceutical. I think they're the brand that brought you Viagra. I believe so.
Mm-hmm.
Great establishment.
Great, fine scientist over there.
On all sides.
They announced Monday morning when I wake up early, I see Pfizer breaking news announces that their vaccine is effective against, I think 90% of the virus, or
90% effective
90% effective. Okay.
Yeah.
in fighting the virus.
The stock
wording.
market goes fucking berserk.
I saw that.
Like, I think the Dow at one point, it closed up 800. It was up 1,500 points.
But what's the conspiracy? You think that like is this a government? Is this a vaccine conspiracy?
So no. I think it's a financial conspiracy. I think there's a lot of conspiracies. There's a couple. It's political too. They had this data 2 weeks ago.
They had to have, right?
I think 4 weeks.
So let's assume they had it pre-election.
It's a little fishy.
Okay.
Less than a week later.
My guess is the CEO of Pfizer or the Pfizer board hates Donald Trump.
Really?
Yes. I think he's a clown, and they don't want him to take credit for their work. Pfizer was not part of the folks that got like research or development money from the government for the vaccine.
They did not.
No, they are promised vaccine, the allocation of, everyone is promised that.
Once it's ready, Pfizer can get 100 million doses paid for by the government.
Got it.
But
no,
nothing to date has been paid. Nothing to date has been paid.
So they were not part of that. Maybe they chose not to participate. Maybe they just didn't want to be any political, whatever, government involvement. So they went and did it. And this data, obviously, is the most important data on fucking Earth.
It literally is.
It literally is the most important. If we know we have a vaccine in January,
changes everything.
Think about it. You're buying plane tickets. You're thinking about shopping. Your whole mindset changes if we get a hard date on the vaccine.
Yep.
And so what happened in the stock market was every stock that has been just throttled to the ground because of Corona exploded. So every retailer, hotel, Vegas stocks, gambling stocks, everything that has been affected by Corona just went berserk, and everything that was considered at home. So like Peloton went down 20%.
Congratulations.
Thank you. That was a big day for me.
Netflix was down, Amazon was down,
Zoom got
Shopify
crushed.
was down, Zoom was down. So basically all the winners during the pandemic got crushed. All your traditional industrial retail companies were on fire. Airlines were on fire. Cruises were on fire. The bellwether America.
Yeah. The stuff. And
America won yesterday.
America won.
And so those companies, which have not recovered, even though the stock market has recovered, you look at those companies, they're all at near 52-week lows.
So I want to extrapolate the conspiracy a little further.
Yeah, because I'm not done with the explanation.
Yeah, this doesn't even feel too tinfoil hat.
Last week, we talked about that there was these S&P call options bought by a few whales and everyone thought it was
in the tune of billions of dollars. And they said it was in regards to the election result. So everyone was like, oh, they know Biden's going to win. So it's going to be a blue wave. Their stimulus is going to pass. And that was like us being retail Joe. We got retail Joe.
This is why we don't
got
win.
retail Joe.
Yeah, we're like the Pete's in this scenario.
So then the election happens. Election happens.
We're all Pete's. I just want to say.
Yeah. Election happens. Election night. We don't have a winner. The next day, it's not clear.
Market should crash.
Market should be down with uncertainty.
So let's lead it. If you just go the week before the election, the market was down.
Yeah.
Friday before the election, the market was down big.
Yeah.
All these mysterious whales start buying call options.
Yeah.
And the market rips for one straight week with complete uncertainty, no elected president. Whether it was Biden, Trump, it didn't matter.
By the way,
are you going as far as to say that you think these whales knew that this was coming?
Wall Street knew.
Wall Street knew. I'll tell you why. Do you know what the worst outcome for the stock market was?
We're all Pete's.
I'll tell you what the worst outcome for the stock market was. Joe Biden as president and a red Senate. Yeah. That would literally every person we listen to who is a so quote unquote expert said that is the worst outcome. That is highly likely the scenario that is going to happen because the runoff is in Georgia still.
Yeah.
That's still a long shot to win those 2 seats.
Yep.
So if I'm thinking about it like that, the worst possible outcome, and by the way, it's still contested. The fucking president has not conceded. We're on high tensions like on any other level.
Yeah.
That's not good for the stock market. But these fuckers knew that this Pfizer data was going to come out. They said it, because by the way, it literally did not matter who the president or the Senate or the House was.
None of it mattered.
Because
so honestly, like all the speculation, because there were people that said, some people said a Republican Senate and Biden presidency is great for the market. Some people said the blue wave's great for the market. Yeah. Some people said Trump is the only way the market stays up. Everyone had an opinion. Yeah. Guess what? None of it mattered.
None of it mattered. Because it
was all rigged.
Because here's the thing. Even so, like the day after the election, the stock market went up. So I thought, maybe that was a signaling of Biden going to win. Then the next day it went up. Then the next day it went up.
So people
never went down.
It never went down. And there's literally like 71 million people in America are pissed, ready to rage.
And if you rewind to election night, everyone thought when the odds started favoring Trump to win, the S&P futures just started ripping. Yeah. Guess what? They just knew this information was coming out in a week. Think about Biden was only declared the winner on Saturday. At 6 a.m., Pfizer just got a memo. Oh, shit, the data looks good.
Yeah, they knew. They knew the whole time.
This looks kind of likely.
And the reality is I think it was twofold. Pfizer knew anything leading up to the election would impact the election.
Yeah.
And they probably didn't want to throw this guy a bone.
Oh, thank God. They could have swayed the election. They could have been the James Comey of 2020.
Yes, he would have won.
He would have won.
Think about how close this election is.
Because
imagine you're that CEO and you're like, I got this.
Yeah.
I can do whatever I want.
I mean, I would love, if I ever run into the CEO of Pfizer, I'm going to be like, I know what you did, motherfucker. Nice move.
Yeah.
But what is even worse is how rigged the financial markets are.
Yeah.
So if anyone thinks we have a shot on our Robinhood accounts, let me just tell you don't.
Yeah.
Because I just want to be clear. Like, if let's just say Pete here goes over to our friends at Revolve and says, hey, earnings are coming. You want to throw me a bone?
Pete will go to jail.
Pete makes a big buy. Pete's fucked.
Yeah.
Right? But I'm guessing that if your theory is true, a lot of people were in on this.
And by the way,
in the tunes of like hundreds of billions of dollars.
And you know why? You don't buy Pfizer stock. By the way, Pfizer stock is not the one that popped. Yeah. You could have broadly bought S&P 500 retail stocks.
You could have bought airlines, cruise liners.
ETF, which, by the way, if you see the volume on ETFs on those particular categories and the S&P as a whole, it's so big that, $1 billion honestly is nothing. Yeah. You're talking hundreds of billions of dollars are traded on some of those things.
I mean, how much money was made off of that info?
$100 billion is my guess. You're talking about one, if you knew the date.
This is a retirement trade.
Yeah.
People retired off this trade.
Yeah.
And Pete is over here losing half of his net worth on
what the fuck is this?
This isn't fair. This is not,
this is America.
This is why people get upset.
Yes.
This is why,
this is why the rich get richer and the poor stay poor.
This is why when I'm talking about free healthcare, free education, because that's all the fuck you're going to get. Because you ain't going to get the data from
Data dog. You're going to get the data dog.
You're just a fucking dog. This is why there needs to be some qualities of equality for all because.
And guess what? No one's going to jail for this.
Oh, no.
People made $100 billion in the last week, and no one's going to jail. No one's going anywhere.
Must be nice.
We'll never know, right? But all you got to do,
no, we do know that. Just the math, the money. Follow the money.
1,000,000%. All I'm saying is there is a date when the data was delivered.
Yes.
It just
we'll
that's
never know.
Pfizer will have to decide if they ever want to share it.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, we knew in August. Fuck this guy.
Wow. Okay, well, listen, I was really excited to like call you crazy and be like, oh, why don't you go back to Reddit?
Yeah.
I'm having trouble thinking anything's even slightly outlandish.
Yeah, I mean, this is just another, when you watch, the Big Short, and it's like the revelation that like I think that was like the first time mainstream Americans realized the financial markets are not in their favor.
Right.
And then it never stopped.
Yeah.
It just keeps happening. We're just not in the inner circle where we get to participate.
That's my problem. Is like I know this isn't possible, so we don't even have to try. But like, I don't think billionaires should be like taxed like crazy because you went and became a billionaire. But I do wish there was something in place that accounted for that unfairness.
Yeah,
because that is something that's like, look, we get it, man. You worked really hard for the first 100 million, but the second 2
billion that you just fucking I mean that's the problem is like Steve Cohen, who's like one of the biggest investors, who had a fund. I mean, he got to shut down his fund because of all irregularities and how he ran it.
No, the other people he took the fall in his fund. You just never got to the head snake.
Yeah, and they were all insider trading trades. I mean,
I would suspect most hedge funds that have, so what they call alpha is you're beating the market.
Yeah.
If you have alpha, you're insider trading.
Yeah. There's no it's just not possible.
I just picture billions. It's like part of your strategy. I don't know if this is true or even majority or anything, but like part of the strategy is how to beat the market. The other part is how to beat the SEC.
Beat the information.
Yeah. Beat the SEC. Yeah. Because guess what? Like when you trade billions of dollars, you only need a few % to be a hero.
Yeah. It's like being a drug dealer.
Yeah.
It's like one part of you is worried about how to bring in business and do good. The other part is worried about how to avoid the cops.
Yeah. And the only difference between a drug dealer and a Wall Street trader is a Harvard degree and a nice fucking press shirt. Straight up.
That's a good, You should post that. Okay. Well, shit, man. I wanted to go conspiracy land, but that seems very likely.
Yeah. It's happening in plain sight. That's the funniest part.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I mean, all that aside, I feel like that one, and like just the thought of a 90% effective vaccine is like, oh shit, like we could actually maybe get back to some life here.
Yeah, and I think
stock market aside, like that's exciting.
I think it is. It's very exciting, and I think the fact that like clearly it's in government's interest to expedite this, and pharmaceutical companies, per our interview with Brent Saunders, is they're not going to take any risk, right? They got to feel fucking good.
Did he know? Did we do that interview and he knew?
Good question.
You gotta have back
He's the CEO of Allergan.
Yeah,
he need to check his Robinhood account.
Like, you check out my new plane.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, okay.
Well, if you read the tea leaves from that interview, he said everything's gonna be normal in 2021.
Yeah.
So he probably knew.
Yeah.
He said, "I'll be at the Staples Center in 2021." He said it with full conviction.
Yeah, because to be honest, before that, all I've heard is about like bad trials. I've heard about like weird side effects. It sounded like Trump is going to pretend like a vaccine's coming, but it's not coming till like 2023.
Yep.
They knew something we didn't.
Everyone knew but us.
Okay.
That's what I think.
Okay, you want to know who else might know something we don't?
Okay.
You know what? Let me rephrase that. I know someone who most definitely knew something we didn't.
Okay, who?
Carlisle.
Yeah.
In the biggest news in our world
I think ever in streetwear history.
And maybe fashion,
yeah,
arguably, right? Like this little startup sells for whatever. Supreme, the world famous Supreme clothing company, has sold to VF, who's the owner of Vans, Timberland, those people.
North Face,
for $2.1 billion. Now, the reason why I say that Carlisle knew something we didn't is because it was like shocking, mind-blowing news that Carlisle bought Supreme at a valuation of $1 billion 2 years ago.
Yeah, they put in, I think, $500 million at like a $1.1 billion valuation.
So you did $1 billion flip in 2 years?
Yeah.
Off of what? Supreme didn't do anything different.
I thought Supreme was increasingly irrelevant.
No,
I did too. I thought it was more popular on social, less popular in the actual like streets.
I think when you think about Supreme, it's a global brand, right?
Yeah.
We obsess over maybe this is like a bubble where we don't see it on the cool kids anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's still one of the coolest brands ever.
Yeah, you can still blow it out.
Yeah, and I think when they do a drop on their website, everything sells out still.
Yeah, so it's the millennial global version of Polo Ralph Lauren, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's Sure.
I think it's different even. It's something
much different.
you can't really compare.
I don't think it's ever happened before. We've never had.
No, but if you're going to pay $2 billion, so VF Corp's been in fashion for decades. They've seen every trend. You know, they've owned some great brands. They must just see.
I'll tell you what they see. China.
The Kung Flu?
Kung Flu out there like streetwear.
Pfizer's about to open it back up. Get those lines popping.
Yeah, I mean.
Maybe they knew.
Yeah.
Everyone knew.
VF Corp was like, because right now I was thinking like, why would you even make that big of a bet right now?
Well, I'll tell you why. Because like, if you look at Supreme, they have so much more runway still. Even though we don't see it on the It people anymore. Mm-hmm. They're always one collaboration away from being very relevant.
Yeah.
And North Face and Supreme collaborated. Such a huge thing. Yeah. So I think like when you think about like
they collaborate every year, I think.
Yeah.
And they've done Timberland.
Yeah, they've done Timberland.
And they were probably looking at the numbers like, what the fuck?
Yeah. And so they probably had plenty of data to realize it was worth it. It's probably extremely profitable.
And they've done bands.
Yeah.
These guys have been close for a long
There's a Supreme
time.
Bands?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
a lot of repeating Supreme Bands, Supreme Timberland multiple times, Supreme North Face, I think every winter.
Yeah. And I mean, and then if you look down VF's portfolio of brands, they could probably go like, oh, we own this shit brand. Let's just collab with them and then it'll be relevant again.
Yeah.
So I think it makes a lot of sense. They're probably so profitable, probably making hundreds of millions of dollars of profit right now. And I do think retail for them works. They can probably open 50 more stores.
Yeah.
I think they can go.
I mean, check this out. In Europe, Supreme did $130 million and a 44% profit margin.
Wait, say that again?
In
Europe.
Yeah.
They did $130 million in 2019 at a 44% profit margin with 2 stores. How is that possible?
Well, the website.
Website, sure, but
that just tell you China.
So what do they do a year in revenue? 400 million?
Probably
more, right?
I would say
if 130 just in Europe.
You think that Europe, then the US has to be bigger, but those have to be like the pretty like where else do they have stores?
Japan, right?
Yeah, Japan is where they're the most.
So 5 or 6.
Yeah, probably 500-600 million. And if they're doing 44% EBITDA in Europe,
then $2 billion is fine.
It's cheap.
Yeah.
And I think
if they're doing 500-600. Taper that down to like 180 million of EBITDA. Let's say it's 30% EBITDA.
They said 15 times EBITDA. That's what the number is that's coming out.
For those who don't know what EBITDA is?
Earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation. So for the sake of PM,
it's just the true profit at the end of the day.
Got it.
Yeah. So that's 100 and what is that?
So Carlisle are the real geniuses then here.
Yeah.
In my opinion. I mean, maybe over time VF is also, I think they will be. But like Carlisle, you're telling me how'd you even get this deal at $1 billion then?
Yeah.
To do what? What did Carlisle do in that 2 years?
I think they just
let it
rip.
Harvest.
Yeah.
Just harvest.
What a deal.
Step away. They probably did nothing.
Yeah. And I think
to think that James Jebbia could have just waited 2 years, went straight to VF and cashed out for $2 billion.
No, I don't think
you need a good financial crook like Carlisle to be able to get from 1 to 2 billion.
You think?
Yes.
You don't think VF would have taken this straight?
You know why? Because like, David Rubenstein's calling the CEO of VF. He goes, this little thing we got here, Supreme? It's like there's power games happening.
So like, I mean, the thing you can't discount is when I don't mean to call them crooks. They might be crooks. Who knows?
Yeah.
Fine people.
Fine crooks on both sides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The power of a Carlisle is buy Supreme at this premium.
They overpaid for.
They probably overpaid. Maybe, it's a hefty premium. And if you want our other deals, like you're going to have to buy this one, pay up for this one.
Yeah.
But man, it feels to me, I think I see what you guys are saying. I know that there's a whole industry there that we don't see. It just seems like to buy something and really infrastructure wise have to do nothing. You didn't have to really, add stores, add retail.
Like they probably hired a CFO.
Yeah, like you didn't have to prove
did.
concept.
Yeah.
There's a huge market here that we didn't see. It's like you literally did the exact same thing you've been doing.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to my guy Keith at Good Partners. He was one of the first only investor in Supreme. And
really?
Yeah, he was the only original investor before Carlisle.
So he still held some equity.
I would assume he did.
Yeah.
And he was already very, very well to do. And I can only imagine he did very, very well here.
Yeah. And he probably knew about that vaccine too.
He's definitely in the vaccine circle.
And this last week, he probably tripled his net worth between the vaccine and this.
He's like, I made $1 billion.
He probably did. Hey, listen, this is a tale of two Americas.
The tale of two Americas are the people who knew about the vaccine and the people who didn't.
Hey, the company's K-shaped. We said it.
Yeah.
We know we're Keith.
Yeah. You got to change your name to a K.
Capital K. Okay. All right. Well, man, what a deal. I don't know. I saw some stuff on the internet about, Supreme's dead. And the story that they're running with is Supreme sells to Vans.
Yeah.
Because I think it sounds kind of like shitty.
Yeah. Even though Vans is huge, multi-billion-dollar company.
Yes. But I just think where people place Supreme and then they place Vans is different. But
I get it.
But I don't look. I think Supreme is still so hot, just not with the circles that we're talking about. That won't matter.
Yeah, I mean, I think people still love their product. You still showcase when you have something.
Because remember, the Supreme Carlisle deal was like top secret. Like you can't internally, they couldn't talk about it. No one could talk about it.
Yeah,
because the thought of Supreme selling might mess up the brand. Anyway, what's going on with Beyond Meat? We haven't checked in on them in a while.
So whipsaw of a day on Monday. They end up Monday morning, the spike is happening for all the, traditional companies. All of a sudden, Beyond Meat plummets. And I just like, whoa, what happened? And then I start getting all these texts from people. The McPlant launched. McPlant is the plant-based patty that McDonald's is launching.
It's not called that.
It's called McPlant.
Yeah, it is.
That's the worst name.
Worst name. So let's just
the McDog shit, man. Why wants to eat a McPlant?
Okay, I agree. It's a bad name. Okay. So it first comes out, and then they said they internally developed it, or that was the rumor. Okay. So everyone thought Beyond was the front runner for it. So McShit comes and Beyond stock crumbles. Then all of a sudden, another press release comes out is that McPlant was developed with Beyond. So the stock goes, skyrockets. 15 minutes later, it skyrockets. Okay?
Yeah.
Then the stock just tapers off, whatever, by the end of the day. I think it ends up down a little bit. After hours, earnings come out. These guys, worse than Datadog. They hey. The only thing worse than anything worse than Datadog was Beyond Meat. Yeah. Beyond Meat missed revenue so fucking big. And I think it was like $30 million they missed it by. And I believe the reason that they claimed was...
They just threw their hands up and said, yeah, it was an unpredictable quarter.
Yeah.
That's what they said?
Yeah.
Well, they're saying... this is their theory, is that everyone stockpiled their plant-based patties in Q2. And in Q3, there was not that demand. And I think they also thought by Q3, restaurants would be back open. That side of their business is probably a donut. And so a vegan donut.
Plant
a plant donut. And so I think I really think what happened was the demand just fucking dropped.
Yeah.
Like people maybe got sick of it. That is a possibility.
And I mean, let's also point out that as the country starts to open up, people are shopping less and eating at home less.
Yeah.
I know, but they should have seen the surge because their restaurant revenue, which was their main business,
right,
was huge comparatively.
So if you want to talk about how the stock swang so much, there's someone actually won a Nobel Prize in economics for the efficient market hypothesis, that the markets are efficient.
Uh-huh.
When a stock vacillates like that, the markets aren't efficient.
Yeah.
No one knows anything.
Yeah. Yeah, that's wild. I could see how the restaurant thing, I also wonder if I don't know, this is just a thought, but everyone talks about, I feel like kind of healthy eating, took a dive. I don't know if that's checks out in the data or not, but where people were just sort of cooking at home, they were changing their routines. Wherever you go to normally get your Beyond Burger was the least of your worries, it seems like.
Yeah, I also think they're still a young company and the public markets treat you very harshly when your revenue fluctuates like this.
Yeah.
I think it's really hard to predict what Beyond Meat's going to do next year, especially with everyone coming out with meat alternatives. I mean, if you go to Whole Foods now, there's so many options.
Yeah. And even Impossible, which is their main rival.
Now they're in groceries.
Yeah, I see them at groceries. So I'll pick up an Impossible and I'll pick up a Beyond Meat.
Sure.
So I'll have just variety.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think this is a category very similar to many. You're not going to have one winner. And, they're valued as a $10 billion company doing a fraction of the revenue. So when you miss on revenue, your stock gets clobbered. It's similar to a Datadog that just, if you forecast that you're not going to be as hot as you are.
Right. And Nestle has a meat alternative that they're working on. Yeah. Everyone's going to.
I wonder what Danny's doing. Our old engineer, Danny, was like what Pete is to Datadog and Tim is to Apple was Danny to Beyond
Me.
Yeah, it's true.
Wonder if he's holding on or what's going on.
But the stock got clobbered. It was down like 20%.
Okay.
Well,
we'll see. I mean, I get it. The restaurant thing had to just cream them.
Yeah, I mean, every restaurant revenue is just plummeted, no matter how you slice it.
All right. Next up, Megaphone. Man, I'll tell you what. Sometimes, no matter, depending on where you look, it can look like doom and gloom and no one's doing anything and blah, blah, blah. You look a different direction and it is just deals popping off.
Yep.
Spotify, it looks like it's going to buy Megaphone for $235 million. Megaphone is it's a hosting platform and they also tie in ad integration.
Yeah.
We've been on there before.
Yeah.
Short Story Long has been on there before. But man, I feel like there was a window similar to like how we talked about, I don't know, craft beer. We talked about growth hacking companies. We talked about these different, I feel like there was a moment that's probably too late now for like podcast networks and platforms.
Yeah.
Because you're seeing all these.
Because Wondery got bought too. Or they're rumored to be bought?
Rumored to be bought.
Mm-hmm. And Wondery is a podcast platform similar to like, I don't know, like a Ringer, right? Like
they
a ton
have
of shows.
Tons of different podcasts.
And Megaphone is getting bought for, it looks like $235 million. And it's interesting. Spotify, the thing I love about what Spotify is doing is they have a lot of currency right now. They have a highly inflated stock.
Yeah.
It's easy to get money. If they want to do cash deals, they can go get cash. If they want to, buy companies with stock, they can use it. They're being so aggressive, and they're being aggressive in one category. That's podcasts. That is where they are making mega. I mean, the amount of podcast acquisitions they've done in 1 year is insane.
In like
what
3
the bill
months.
will be for podcasts in 2020 for them.
Well, how much did they spend?
It's like
over $1 billion.
Yeah, well
They
over
spent
$1 billion.
$250 on the Ringer, $235 on this. What did they pay Joe Rogan?
The number's 100, but I think it's way bigger than that.
It could be 100 a year.
Yeah, who knows?
So we can
what else
name
did
you
they
a
buy?
billion.
They bought something else. They bought
they bought that other thing early
Anchor.
on.
Didn't they buy
Was it Anchor?
Yeah, I think they bought Anchor.
So Wondery is rumored to be selling for $400 million to Apple and Sony, who apparently had talks with them.
Oh, Apple showed up.
Like what?
Oh, hey, Apple.
Yeah, Tim Apple, thanks for showing up to the
See.
party.
I'm telling you, Spotify is so well run. That CEO is so impressive, and he's making big bets. Everyone knows podcasting is the future.
Yeah.
It's still such a tiny industry.
It's
if you
nothing.
think about like the average person still has never even heard of a podcast.
I know.
Never heard one.
Yes.
Not one. It's insane. They don't even know. There's people that come to, I ran into, and they go, I heard you have a podcast. I was like, oh yeah, I do. Goes,
Where do I listen?
Show me how to get to it.
Yeah.
On my phone. And
I've done that
literally,
so many times.
Yeah.
I mean, you know
Podcast.
that app that you never open, the purple one?
Yeah, that says podcast,
Yeah.
you dipshit.
You know what podcasts seem like? It's like e-commerce in 2001, where people are like, I don't trust my credit card on that site. I'm
No.
not doing e-commerce.
And
Yeah.
even the platform feels that way.
Yeah.
Like Discovery and stuff is still really bad.
It's just bad.
Like if
Even-
I'm searching for like what was this guy featured that I knew did an interview in another, like maybe you listen to someone on our show and you're like, hey, I wonder what other shows he's done. It's almost impossible. to
The
find.
technology's so bad.
Yeah.
It's the worst experience possible.
And the data that we get,
It's a joke.
horrible.
We literally don't know who listens to our podcast.
No.
We
That's
just
why
put it out
we
and
just know it's number one in the world.
Yeah.
That's it.
And I saw someone questioning that on our comments page.
Yeah, prove
Shut
it.
the fuck up. These numbers is real.
I got an idea. Prove it, because we can.
Yeah. I can show you the numbers, but there's a lot of legal stuff in the back end we can't show you.
So here's the thing about being the number one podcast. He said Google did not. Google's fake news.
When has Google ever told the truth?
Google
Don't they have
doesn't
a
even
little
know who's
lawsuit?
president.
Don't
No,
have a
they
little
just favor their
lawsuit
own
going
stuff.
right now.
Yeah,
I don't trust
antitrust. I have no trust.
Yeah, you
No.
want to talk about
That's
no
why it's
trust?
called antitrust.
Anyway, I just think the whole, like, the platform, that everything is so just not there, which is crazy. And Spotify seems above anyone else to get that.
Yeah.
I am a podcast junkie, and no joke, I have like just overwhelmed in the morning when I know I'm want to listen to a few podcasts. I'm like, I have to press this and search, and I'm like, God damn it, this is so much friction.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just a terrible
That's what else
experience.
kills me is like, I think Spotify, I don't listen to podcasts on Spotify. Their platform is probably maybe a little better. But like Apple, it's like you have all of Apple Music figured out. How hard is it to make like the Apple Music of podcasts? But that app seems like it's 10 years old.
And then sometimes it says podcast is unavailable, I have perfect service.
Yes.
And I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah, it just erases my downloads.
Yes.
And what's Spotify also has a thing, because one of the problems too is discovery, right? So everyone in the world now has a podcast. And I get that. That's just like anything else. But like in a lot of things, there's at least a path. Usually you have to pay.
Yeah.
But there's a path to start to grow and get discovered. Spotify has a new way of doing that?
Yeah, what they are going to start testing is for artists, musicians, record labels, if you're willing to sacrifice a percentage of your royalty, which we don't know all the math yet, it's still...
I'll give 100%.
Yeah. So me as a musician, I would give 100%.
Yeah, front page us.
I mean, I'd probably pay you.
For sure.
As long as...
Guess what? Someone's probably getting paid at Spotify.
Yeah.
Someone.
I just got to find the guy that you pay.
Payola, that's how radio worked for years.
Yeah.
Yes.
You pay the radio disc jockey, your song gets played.
Yeah,
Okay, if any of our listeners know someone at Spotify can pay to get my song played more, the podcast featured on the homepage, we're happy to pay.
Yeah, we want to pay someone at Spotify under the table.
Yeah.
Feature us on the front.
Yeah.
Group chat, #1 podcast in the world.
Yeah. Put us at the top of the ranking. Number one.
You also like other features.
Do you want cash? You want Bitcoin? However you want money.
Yeah.
Remember iTunes? Remember Apple had, like people were pitching it to us like 2 years ago where like you could pay someone, not at Apple,
Yeah.
and they could finesse you getting on
Yeah.
the #1 charts.
Yeah.
But you would just fall off really quickly.
Yeah.
So it's like on the day your show launches, you'll be #1 on the charts or top 3.
So in music, what they're saying is if you're willing to sacrifice a percentage of royalty, they will boost you in the algorithm.
Oh, sorry. We're only talking music here.
They're only music right now. So they'll boost you by adding you to playlists and give you opportunities to get featured more because that will help you with discovery. So, I mean, given that like Spotify royalties are not how most artists survive, this is just a way for Spotify to just cut their royalty bill in half and like pay artists less and take advantage of them.
CEO's a beast.
Yeah.
Beast. And that guy, you say he's young, 30s?
It's like 38.
That's wild. Joe Rogan was disclosing a little bit more on like the uprising and stuff within Spotify, and there was one, and people had meetings about it, and it was mainly about he had an episode about transgender people and stuff like that, and he did say that the CEO himself is just a fan of the show, and so he's like, do what you want.
Yeah.
He's never called him about any of these issues. He personally can like quote episodes. He's a fan, and so he's just like, go ahead.
Yeah, why not?
So that guy's just, he just knows what's up. That's the thing about a 30-something-year-old CEO.
He's relevant.
Yeah.
He's very relevant. The purchases he's making, like these podcast bets today all look overpriced if you look at them at face value.
Yeah.
But he sees the data in his company. He knows the future of audio. I mean, Spotify is the future of audio.
Yeah.
Isn't it cool that he is making the right business decision? He's probably the biggest Joe Rogan fan. Yeah. He gets to make the right business decision that Joe Rogan should be on their platform. Yeah. And he's like, I got to partner with him.
Yeah. This guy's probably living a great life.
Yeah. It's like the kid who grew up playing baseball and loves baseball and buys the team.
Yeah, like if many of you were like, oh, I really like that Joe Rogan podcast. I'm going to buy it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool. And you're 38. Okay. And then we also have, some good news for Peloton.
Yeah.
Apparently, they have collabed with none other than the queen herself.
Yep.
Beyonce.
Yep.
To do, it looked like some sort of like homecoming themed rides or something, whatever, themed rides.
Yep.
With Beyonce. So I don't know. I mean, look, we know our bigger thoughts on Peloton, but it seems like an interesting play.
Yeah. I mean, I hate to say it, but I like it.
Okay.
Beyonce is known as an avid spinner. She used to go to Soul Cycle in Beverly Hills.
Yeah, shout out to Angela.
Angela, a very famous Soul Cycle instructor.
What is she's up to?
I wonder if she's gone to Peloton or if she's on Soul Cycle's platform.
I mean, Soul Cycle should be paying her like top dollar to do those online classes.
And the thing is The partnership here is like it's launching around like I think Homecoming, the documentary that she did, like a music series around that. There's going to be her content. There's going to be obviously original content, the music inspired classes, and there's like a partnership on helping historical Black colleges, giving students their 2 years free Peloton digital subscriptions.
Beyonce's the queen of that.
Yeah.
She's the queen of like tying it in. Yeah.
Like, oh, you want me to do this, but you're also going to do
I think
Yeah.
people with that much power, because she's one of the most powerful artists, are making that part of every deal go forward.
I think the only thing that happens, I think you're 100% right. I think what happens is a lot of times people get that much power and they stop caring.
Yeah.
You know, like
You just forget.
Even like Beyonce at Coachella, it was like the band members were from HBCUs, and like she's just good at like remembering to do it. Obviously, people will let Beyonce do whatever she wants now.
Yeah.
But she does that well.
Yeah, doesn't Michael B. Jordan make certain demands if he gets cast in a movie?
Yeah.
In terms of diversity on set,
Yeah.
whether it's security or assistance or whatnot.
Yeah,
So-
and I think that's probably a go forward strategy for a lot of talented people. This is great because, like, my guess, if you looked at Peloton's customer base, the Black customer base is probably very small. It's so catered towards like urban white.
Lululemon wearing.
Yeah, like it's not. And even when I think about, like, I obviously have never experienced Peloton, but I can imagine I would.
Really?
Yeah,
You never,
experienced.
I would have
Peloton.
never
that's
guessed.
weird.
Yeah, I've never experienced it.
You seem like
The
I thought
Peloton type.
when you wear like the workout shorts. That's what I thought.
It looks like you just jumped off a Peloton.
Yeah.
I ran here.
Huh, interesting. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's going to attract people that are into music, which is a bigger, larger, diverse pool of people.
Plus, I will say, like, even if it is majority that urban white Lululemon woman, they love themselves some Beyonce.
Yeah, they said Beyonce was the most requested song of the 3.6 million Pelotoners.
Especially like motivation. You know, when you're thinking about like.
So
when you're
that just tells you
cycling.
it's women.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good move, Peloton.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's a good move. I like when these big companies make bets on pop culture because that always moves the needle.
Yeah.
Especially when you get the right person.
I feel like there's always a divide there. I feel like the smaller, like, I don't know how to explain that, but obviously like streetwear and stuff like that, the smaller companies get the celebrity thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes these big, like, funded companies just don't.
Yeah.
And there's like a disconnect there.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break from the episode to bring you today's sponsor. It is none other than our own selves here at the Group Chat Pod. And I am talking about the merch that we also previewed and talk about at the end here, but that we're going to be releasing Friday morning.
Wow. And it's exclusive collaboration with Melrose Place.
Yes.
So you know you're getting the highest of qualities, effortless luxury.
Yes. And I knew right away when we wanted to do merch and I saw the new blanks from Melrose Place, I thought we can't have it on anything else.
So if you want to look smart and rich,
Yes.
head on over
Yes.
to where?
thementalhouse.com. You're going to click on brands. You're going to click on group chat. Friday morning, it's going to be released. We have 2 tees and 2 sweatshirts over there.
Yeah, and it's a great quality product. You know, a lot of people like to rep their college. I don't rep USC anymore
Because they're crooks.
because they're crooks. So I'm sticking with Group Chat U.
We have never done our people wrong.
The Fighting Cathys.
The Fighting Cathys. And a special shout out to John from Daddy-O who helped us out with the design.
Yes.
It's an incredible design. Really collegiate.
Very collegiate.
Bringing together the
I felt
collegiate
like I
power.
was 19 years old wearing this hoodie.
Yes. And you'll still have that same exact swag with the Melrose Place blanks as well.
Great.
So don't miss out. Head over there. Also, don't miss out at thegrandrunningclub.com. We still have the special running for the 2 for $98, correct?
2 for $80.
We still have the 2 for $80 over in the Grand Running Club for the everyday pant, your go-to pant. D, how often are you wearing these pants?
I'm wearing them every single day. I wear them in the morning. I wear them for lunch. I wear them for dinner. I wear them when I go to sleep. I wear them when I go running.
Does everybody in your family pretty much wear them now?
Everyone wears them. Everyone around me just wears them. It's just pants.
Everyday pants.
Everyday
everywhere.
pants. Everyone has them. Everyone
Yes.
pants. It's a lot of pants.
So there is your proof right there that they are the best pants you could ever buy. And the competitors are selling these for like $120,
Crooks.
if not more. And they're the real crooks. A pair.
Lock
And they give you
them
2.
up.
Lock them up. Lock them up. Or just go over to Grand Running Club and go ahead and purchase the pants. That's just as much locking them up as you can actually physically do.
And use the code group chat.
Yes.
Special discount.
Special discount. That won't be around forever. So take advantage of that and take advantage of their Black Friday sale going on. They have a lot of other things over there as well, including shorts, tees, sweatshirts, and so much more. So don't miss out. Okay, is that it, guys?
No, go spend some money.
Okay. Even though the world's in shutdown, you go and spend that money. All right, let's get you back into today's episode.
Moving right along, still not into politics, but the other most talked about topic of the month, good old C19. On fire, record numbers. If there was a stock for C19, now would be the time to get in.
Yeah.
You look at the zoom out strategy, and I will say that it looked a little rocky for C19 back in about August. Things are up.
Yep.
So numbers are breaking records. Here's the trippy thing, and I was telling this to actually my family, is currently today, it is the most dangerous time to go be doing anything than ever in the history of this.
Yes.
So as scary as it felt back in March, this is actually more dangerous to go to the store, to go to wherever you're going. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, like we're not past the peak.
We're not past the peak. The only good news is, if I'm being completely honest with the news here, is it does seem like we've learned to treat it better.
Yes.
It does seem like the death rate is lower.
Yep.
So that is good news. But the point is, infection rates are through the roof.
Yeah. I mean, I have an employee that you guys all know. He is in the hospital in fucking Mexico with COVID.
He is?
Yes.
And
I know
it
who
looks
you're
pretty
talking about.
bad.
Yes. I mean, he's on oxygen. Wow. He's 30 years old.
In great shape.
He's white. Wow. Got those big white veins.
If you white people out there think you can't get it.
And he's in the fucking hospital. Like, he told me he lost his sight for 15 minutes. He freaked out. And then he couldn't breathe. And then they put him on oxygen in the hospital. Do you know how bad you have to breathe as someone that has asthma to be on oxygen?
At 30?
Yeah. Healthy.
Yeah, because I know someone too that we work with that her significant other got it. They both got it together. Significant other had the flu for 5 days. She was also in the hospital and on a heart monitor and all these crazy things.
Fuck.
30s.
30?
Recently.
In her 30s, yeah. Like a couple weeks ago.
So it's spreading. It's real. And it just shows for those that say, oh, I don't really care, do you have health insurance? Because you know what
Step
a hospital
one.
visit in America costs you?
Ooh, you know what that
Even
oxygen
with health
costs?
insurance,
Yeah,
if you're in
you have a deductible.
If you're in the hospital for 14 days, let me tell you, that's a very expensive bill with the best health insurance possible.
That's what's so crazy because no, I didn't tell that story. Okay, I won't tell the story because I just want to be aware of everyone's privacy here. But another person that I know got it, just got tested to have a regular test, came up positive and was like, this must be a mistake. Sure enough, had it, and then felt a little sick, was sick for a day, completely back to normal. That's the craziest thing about this is you have no idea.
Exactly.
I feel like it's a roulette wheel, and if your number gets called, you're screwed.
Yeah, because the guy we're talking about here has no pre-existing conditions.
Yeah.
Really.
No.
I mean,
It's still an odds game because you may have that experience, or you may have you're in a Mexican hospital.
Oh,
Take your chances.
Okay, well, shit. So anyway, that's the reality that's going on out in the world. And, we'll hand it over to Joe and see what the hell he can do. He's already talked about masks and stuff like that. It does sound like the simple addition of not large gatherings, not so close, and wearing masks is makes a huge difference.
It really feels like indoor extended periods of time, no mask, is just terrible.
Yeah.
And everything else seems manageable.
Yeah, because now what's happening is, we all know the weather has cooled across the country. So people are not outside like they were. And so but they have not changed their habits. They're
And think about what's even worse. It's the holidays, multi-generational hangs.
I'll give you an example.
Holidays are
Yesterday,
sketch.
I had a few friends over, on and included. We sat in my backyard,
Freezing
fucking cold.
I had to wear a ski jacket.
I was wearing this big ass parka.
You see, I've been wearing my bubble jackets out already.
But we sat outside because it's just why take the risk? We sat outside. Luckily, our friend Deepak brought
very expensive wine.
Opus One. Just I think he just has like a vending machine for Opus One.
Yep.
So he just brought a couple of those.
He drinks better than anyone I know.
Yeah.
You gotta get some heaters out there.
So
You're gonna need to.
You know what's interesting? On Friday, I start looking for patio heaters. There is not one anywhere in like LA County available for pickup. I called. There was one in Carson, Home Depot, and I'm like, can you hold it for me? And I'll figure out how to like get it. They're like, we can't hold this item. Like, someone's just gonna buy it.
It's
you
on
need to come right now
for $3,000.
Yeah, and so they're like, I'm like, if I buy it, can you deliver it by Monday? They're like, if you buy it today, it'll be there like Wednesday. I'm like, well, I need it like this weekend.
Pete, I'm just saying, if you want investment opportunities, load up on space heaters or whatever.
Yeah, make up for Datadog.
Go buy
You
a
can
bunch
make
of
up those
space
losses, man. Just a little.
Stick a Supreme sticker on a heater.
Oh my god!
And you know what? You don't even have to go
On
buy
fire.
them. You don't even have to go buy them. I'll just go raid these restaurants at night.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah, I was
grab
eating at a
theirs.
restaurant the other night, and we didn't have a space heater. We didn't have one of those heaters,
Patty,
and
yeah.
everyone else. And they had to literally wait till one table got up to drag the heater over, so we had it. Like there was obvious, a shortage.
I mean, I'm sure there's restaurants that went out of business. I can scoop up a couple of those. I would love 3-4 in my backyard.
Yeah.
That's a game changer. You got to get that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
What's
man.
my percentage if I source a couple for you?
What's your percentage?
Yeah.
You have to come with me to final price. You make your margin.
Okay.
Okay.
That's how this works.
Yeah.
$2,000.
No, they're
probably way more expensive than
No,
that.
at Home Depot they're $149.
Great.
So
Now you know you're
I'm
starting.
willing to pay $149 delivered to my house. You could if you get
Look,
it for
buddy,
$5.
Business is business.
No, that's the price.
I got to make my margin.
You steal
good, though.
too. You make up for Datadog.
I know.
You steal too. You deliver to my house. I give you $300.
He doesn't care how
Cash.
it got there.
Cash.
You know, there's some lazy person closing up a restaurant that forgets to bring in the space
And
heater.
just steal it.
Sure.
I just got to go rent a truck and then I'll find a truck. I'll steal the truck, steal that, go put the truck
Oh my
back.
God.
They'll think it's the person that owns the truck.
For $300
Boom, I'm
bucks.
scot-free.
And he's in jail.
And I'm in
That's what happens
jail.
when you lose your ass in the stock market, man. You got to get crafty.
Yeah, he went from like a
Bougie hotel
financial
to
guy to stealing space heaters.
Yep. This is how it
Hey,
happens.
look, man.
But when you're
Straight
down,
to
you
This year's
gotta-
top
you gotta do it.
risk.
Okay, so that is a very real, statistic. We'll let Joe and Kamala take that one. And then the one quick note that I think we didn't talk about is on this Pfizer thing. So, 90% effective. Let's just say this thing rolls out. How in the fuck do you even get this to everyone? Or is this like another rich people thing?
I think it's going to be a hustle similar to early COVID testing when it was really hard to get a COVID test. You're going to have people charging $150 when they get it for free.
Like the
And there's
space
going to
heaters.
be, it's a space heater
Jeff
situation.
Toll. I'm just gonna pay Jeff Toll.
You might want to slide Jeff Toll a little money right now.
Yeah, just put me
'Cause
in line.
Everyone's going to eventually get the vaccine and eventually it'll be free, but there's going to be people profiting along the way.
Yeah, you're right.
Here you go. I'll trade you a spot with you with Jeff Toll if I get those space heaters. Because that is more valuable. Your boy's trying to bull. So
Can you
yeah.
imagine if you're on like Raya and you said COVID vaccine?
Oh my
positive
God.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
There should be a verification badge. I'm telling you, it'd be the hottest thing.
Oh my god.
And let's all make predictions. I think March, it starts rolling out. By the summer, everything's normal. What do you guys think?
I think the first batch of people will get vaccines.
The same people who made $100 billion last week will be getting the vaccine first.
Yeah.
I think they'll actually start. I have a feeling. I'm very optimistic. By like December, Jan, the first set of vaccines will be available.
We were told
Really?
yesterday by a friend that in Russia, there is a vaccine being administered. What's in that vaccine, we do not know.
Who
cares?
But there are people going and getting a vaccine in Russia.
Okay, here's my other question. In our bubble, I think your timeline might be right. How does that apply to like Lollapalooza in Chicago? Or like, do you think it is completely available by this summer?
I think by next summer. So EDC is a good point because it's sold out.
Yeah.
Sold out.
What's that, June? When's
Well,
Oh,
EDC?
it's currently sold out
Currently for
sold out
next June.
year.
for 2021.
Yeah.
Yeah.
EDC
That's still
probably
aggressive.
donating money to help make sure the vaccine comes out.
It
I
should
mean,
be.
Yeah, they should make it part of the package.
Bundle.
For
Menlo Club, for
$1,000.
Menlo Club, it's $200 next month. I give you a nice outfit.
And a vial with a needle.
Yeah, and a vaccine.
Go ahead and stab that fucker right in your arm.
Oh my
You're welcome.
God. Imagine if you could get your hands on fucking little travel shots.
Yeah, I can get.
If you can get the first 1 million vaccines, you can retire.
I mean, the amount of money that is going to be, I mean, we talked about it obviously with like the stocks and all this stuff, but the amount of money that's going to be made.
You know how
in
many
this
people?
thing.
Yeah,
Is this-
billions of people are going to take this.
I mean, and then billions of people are going to die because I feel like this is going to be the mass thing where they're like, can you get me like 1 million of these? And then all of a sudden everybody's going to be like, hey, Jimmy down around the corner, go get your shot from him. And I feel like,
yeah, there's going to be a lot of.
like, they let a couple slide. Like, here's the extras.
Because I think there'll be like the thirsty people that just want it to just move on. And then you don't know, you're verifying the sources. Because even early COVID
like taking
tests,
drugs and you're not sure
If I
like
was
which drugs
diabetic,
they are.
I'd just take my little, what's that called?
EpiPen?
Insulin?
Yeah.
EpiPen and just be like, yeah, this is the vaccine.
This is the vaccine.
Yeah.
You need a vaccine?
$500.
Think about how much fraud's going to happen.
Yeah.
So much.
Like just injecting water in people.
Yeah.
This is
Oh, you
like
got the
supreme.
vaccine. Go
I
live
think
your
they should
life.
go to James Jebbia and say, how do you do it? Because
Yeah.
you have a very popular product. There's a lot of fakes. How do you manage?
Yes.
You got to imagine the government after all this fraud, the PPP fraud, all of this fraud that's happened this last year, everyone's good.
This is the most
Oh,
They're gonna
down
get like
on-
they're gonna get like
they'll be
one
down
or two
on
people
Melrose giving
and then
shots behind fucking cool,
cool
kicks.
kicks. Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. All right. We'll see what happens. All right. It's time. We got two things we got to talk about real quick. Just want to check in. Don't want to bring down the mood.
Yep.
Okay. What's going on with the lawsuits? It seems like all of the emphasis for Trump is, the press doesn't decide elections. The people do whatever the hell he's saying. Still a lot of lawsuits we need to let play out. Obviously, Lindsey Graham has hopped on board. All these people have hopped on board. So we're all waiting on the lawsuits.
Yep.
Any update?
So here's the thing. Donald Trump continues to double down on we won the election.
Yep.
Lindsey Graham is all over television saying he will not concede. We're going to fight this till the bitter end. Mike
piece of shit that
Pompeo,
guy is.
the Secretary of Shit, did a press conference today, and he said, I don't want to...
Transitioning, they asked him about the transition of power, and he goes, yes, we'll be transitioning into a second Trump administration.
Peacefully.
This is what I don't get, right? These guys aren't idiots.
Yeah.
Like they're not, we call them idiots. They're not complete idiots. You see what's going on. You've been here before. You know that in 2.5 months, your guy's gone.
Yeah.
Why are you still tripling down? Because you're still going to be here
Yeah.
to answer for the stupid shit you said.
Yeah, I think it's all a marketing tactic. So Attorney General Bill Barr is allowing the circus to continue. He is allowing some of these stupid lawsuits and inquiries and things go through the system. And Jones Day, which I think is one of the big law firms on Trump's side, they themselves are facing a dilemma because they're like,
do we take the $20 million in the next 60 days or undermine our democracy?
Yeah.
I think they take the $20 million. I would love to hear from someone from that law firm rationalize to me outside of money.
So this is where corporations can actually take a stand, because I bet Jones Day works with all the Fortune 100 companies in some capacity.
Yeah.
Don't use them.
Yeah.
Pfizer, fire Jones Day.
If 20 of the
Yeah.
Fortune 100 companies fire Jones Day, that's going to impact their business.
Yeah.
Yep.
It'll make people think twice when they do unethical things. I mean, the votes are clear. What's crazy is we're having conversations privately of people that are actually nervous that Trump's going to steal this. This is not like a crazy out of the box theory that people are now feeling.
Yeah.
And it's pathetic. The election's over, guys. You heard it here.
Yeah.
Joe Biden will be inaugurated January 20th. There's nothing Donald Trump or his goons or the dummies like Lindsey Graham and Mitch McConnell can do. It is over.
I think
Donald Trump tweeted, because the way the Electoral College works is the electors actually have to vote.
Yeah.
And with Pennsylvania, that's happening next week. And it's just a formality. Whoever wins the state, you go that way. He's telling Pennsylvania to switch their votes.
It's just, you know what else is funny to me and just so damaging to this whole thing is the same way that when they rushed in the Amy Coney Barrett thing, and then they had the audio of people saying that they should wait under the Obama administration and then saying now why they shouldn't wait. And it was just so contradictory. It shows that you literally don't have any backbone whatsoever. They're doing the same thing now. They're putting together these audio things of people like saying the media doesn't decide an election and then showing all the people congratulating Trump in 2016 when the media called the election.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't know, man. Do these people just not, like you truly just become so political that you don't care, you don't think it matters, you're just like, fuck. I just can't understand why this many smart people, I understand why you would ride Trump
to the brink,
but like you're past it now, man, and you all know it.
Yeah, and I think,
I think also for the spineless folks like Lindsey Graham, they're just terrified because Trump is the GOP.
Yeah,
71 million people voted for him.
Yeah.
None of these guys have a leg to stand on. They're not popular.
Yeah.
Lindsey Graham almost was in a contested race and by a complete no-name upstart.
Raised the most money ever in a Senate.
They know they're not popular. Yeah. And they know the only thing that is popular within Republicans is Donald Trump. Yeah. So they don't want to potentially lose that popularity. And so they're going down with the ship. It's a politically calculated move. Think about politicians, right? Yeah. They're only out for themselves. So if Lindsey Graham is willing to say the Trump line, that means he knows he needs him.
Yeah.
Because he's nothing without him.
But this is like,
this isn't blind loyalty. This isn't blind loyalty. This is a calculated move by these politicians.
I just don't understand where the calculation would lead you to if it's over. Like, what do you end up just looking bad now and not having your guy?
I think there's a strong feeling that he's running in 2024.
No, but
no one else is even. There's no name.
Forget even that. Forget even that. Let's say he never runs again. They know January 21st comes around. Donald Trump still has 89 million Twitter followers. He's still, if Donald Trump will come on your network, no network is going to say no, right?
Right.
And he'll go on there and say, Lindsey Graham's fighting for you. Mitch McConnell's fighting for you. And he knows he's going to yield that power.
No one wants that Twitter smoke either.
Yeah.
If you turn on Trump, he's going to just look at the things he'd say about Lindsey Graham.
Yeah. I mean, he guys having sex with transgenders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me that in that, allegedly, I don't know the legal boundaries around that.
Okay, fine. Allegedly.
It's crazy to me that, not to be dramatic, but essentially these guys are choosing Donald Trump over American democracy.
Yes.
Yes. I think that's consistent with most politicians, though. Both sides.
That goes back to my theory about being selfish as a party. That is the through line for the party.
How about Pence taking a week-long vacation?
I like that. He's like, I don't want to deal with this shit.
They're out of office in 45 days.
I mean, what the fuck? What's he going to do?
He's like, this shit's over.
No one's on Team Pence here.
And he's the head of the coronavirus task force.
Oh, fuck it.
And like you said, we have the most cases ever.
Yeah, they haven't called a meeting in months. Jesus. Okay, and then what's up with Amy Coney and the Supreme Court squad? Anything you need to worry about?
You know, the Affordable Care Act kind of controversy that everyone was really concerned about, it looks like they're going to keep it intact. I think there's certain things that, that they're trying to pick apart, but like Kavanaugh and even Justice Roberts, they're all like saying like, we got to keep this intact. I think like,
see, this is how I want Lindsey Graham and crew to act.
Yeah.
Like they put you all in there. You're all conservative as shit, but it sounds like there's at least, I don't want to jump the gun, but like a little bit of like.
You can't get fired from Supreme Court.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Yeah, fuck.
That I honestly think that should never happen for elected officials. But like there's some power into the Supreme Court thing. Knowing your job is secured, you can make the right decision for the country. Like whatever one of the, old dudes with the wigs that came up with that idea, great idea.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. It does work in that aspect.
Yeah, because they're not running for office. Lindsey Graham knows he needs Trump's base to be relevant in the Republican Party.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, you could just quit and go get a job at like the new Trump network and be fine. Make more money anyway. That's probably what Lady G is thinking.
Even Fox News.
Don't worry. Lady G is getting that vaccine info in advance.
Yeah.
Lady G is making money. Don't get it fucked up.
Okay. All right. We got an interview.
Yes. A really good one.
Okay. Tyler Schmitt.
Tyler Schmitt is part of the Gary V camp, VaynerMedia. He is, so we've gotten a lot of interesting questions about baseball cards. And then a lot of people talking to us like, why don't you talk about baseball cards? I'm like, yeah.
Is that how they sound?
Yeah.
Yeah, they all sound like that. It's really weird.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Yeah.
Because I'm not 12 years old.
Right.
But it's become the big fad of Corona.
Yes.
And
is this like the Pfizer of
Yes.
We discussed the conspiracy
I actually threw out a conspiracy right from the beginning of the interview.
Got it.
Where I thought Gary Vee and Josh Luber from StockX are behind this whole craze. So that's how we started the interview.
Good. Got to
But
get right to the point.
But it's really interesting. Like, it is an investment class now. Cards is an investment class because people are willing to pay for it. And we had a really interesting discussion. Tyler's a really smart guy. And I think people enjoy it, especially people that are interested in investing in general. He makes a lot of very valid points on why this is an interesting asset class of the future.
I think
Tim, have you thought about it?
Investing?
In cards?
No, I'm currently being drowned by Datadog. I don't really have any money to go.
I honestly think similar to the band in Wall Street that knew about the vaccine, you're going to see prominent sports media people pumping cards and make a killing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like it. Look, and it's a really great discussion because we discuss art, we talk about other things. So I definitely suggest you guys listen to it.
Okay, let's talk to Tyler.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest today, and probably one of the hottest categories, as hot as Bitcoin, I would say.
Yeah.
I mean, baseball cards, if only we knew. Because that's all we did as kids.
Yes. So
we would be rich if we knew that this is what the industry had turned into.
We have Tyler Schmitt from Card Talk, correct? That's the name of the podcast you guys have.
Yep.
And, I've been getting blown up on social media about how come you guys don't talk about baseball cards? And I said, because I'm not 12 anymore. That's why I don't talk about baseball cards. And then every day someone sends me a link of some fucking Mike Trout card or something that got sold for $1 million. And I'm like, Mike Trout could walk down the street in LA and nobody would know who he is.
No one. I mean, baseball in general.
But what the hell? So I'm going to start with the conspiracy theory on baseball cards.
Yep.
And it involves the people you work with.
Yep.
I am convinced Josh Luber, StockX, and Gary Vee conspired to increase the value of baseball cards. I think they were sitting around one day and they were like, you know what? How can we make a lot of money?
How can we create a new asset class?
And they're like, baseball cards.
It's innovative.
Yeah.
I kind of love it. If that theory is true, that they were just sitting around and figuring out what are unexplored asset classes, because
I'd have a shitload of money, that's for sure.
Because I remember Josh specifically telling me, this is almost now 2 years ago. I was like, what are you working on? He goes, baseball cards, bro. Baseball cards. And my buddy Demaney also was like, yo, did you hear about this baseball card shit? And I was like,
how long ago was this?
2 years ago.
Okay, so they were early.
Yeah, I mean, I would say Josh and Gary is the reason why I started, it even got on my radar.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden that's when I started thinking, I'm like, the two loudest voices on baseball cards are probably the ones that created all the hysteria.
So I want to ask, since you're the expert, and we'll let you talk because me and Dave just
all good. Yeah, I'm just
rambling about fucking baseball.
Conspiracy.
This is why we have a podcast.
I'm just weird. If I wish it was true because I would just be fucking chilling somewhere with a shitload of money myself. But
so can you walk us through the transformation from me and D as 15 and 12-year-olds saving up our allowance, going to the card store and buying a Ken Griffey Jr. card? Versus what's happening today, where you have cards selling for 7 figures.
Yeah. So I think the main difference, the big thing that happened that kind of changed it, and I think turned it into this asset class, is grading. PSA and Beckett, and the fact that they now authenticate and put a graded condition to said card. So immediately you get, a specific supply against whatever said demand is. Whereas the Griffey stuff, pull it out, it's a piece of cardboard, and there were shows going on, people were trading them and all that, but there wasn't the graded aspect that kind of leveled it up. Is it Anthony Davis that puts it in just like a hard piece of plastic, grades it to a mint, and then has a database of exactly how many of these are in circulation, which then just is a simple supply and demand game.
So is it the same? So we're so disconnected from this from our childhood because we were so deep into baseball card collecting as kids. Is it the same guys, Topps, Fleer, Upper Deck, or is it new guys?
So Panini is like, I would say, the leader of like the cool right now. They have the NBA license. And so they're putting out the modern day NBA stuff. They have a product called Prism, which is like the leader of the pack. They got that license, I believe, in 2012 and kicked that off. And that's kind of driven it. And then Luka, Trae Young, Zion, like really started the hype push. Obviously, Luka's gone crazy. But yeah, Panini, Topps, Fleer's in the mix a little bit. Upper Deck's in the mix a little bit. But it's really a Panini and Topps game.
And Go ahead.
I was going to say, do all the individual card companies have licenses to the NBA?
No.
So if you want an NBA card, you can only go to Panini?
Yeah, for modern, yep.
Oh, wow.
But like LeBron's card is a Topps because Topps used to have that. Yep.
And is it only rookie cards that are valuable?
It depends. The answer is no.
Okay.
Like Michael Jordan inserts are crazy. Prism, which was like the hot product. So there's a lot of players that their first Prism product, which might have been their third year, is like big. Generally speaking, yes. But just like in most things, you can have like a surface level conversation and it's like, yeah, you want the rookie card. And then you can like nerd the fuck out and be like, well, there's a lot of variables that can alter that.
So what's the demographic of today's card collectors? So as children, there's obviously young people that were into the baseball card scene. And then we actually started like putting real money into baseball cards as like 12 to 15.
Yeah.
And we would go set up at trade shows. And
totally. I think it's the same, bro. Like, honestly, the reason I love it is not because of the cards. It's because I've pretty much got a taste of like, oh shit, the power of like being able to buy something for one price and sell it for more. And what that does for you.
I do feel like the crowd has to be cooler because if we went in a time machine and saw the people that were at the card shows when we were 12,
I mean, it was just like fat slob, like baseball fans.
Look, it still exists, but now there's a spectrum for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I remember. This is a crazy story. So we grew up in Northridge, Granada Hills, California, in the suburbs here. And we used to go to a place called the Baseball Card Co.
So is he a billionaire now?
So that's one. He might be a billionaire. Two, and we became so friendly with the owners of this shop. One of the owners was like a 40-year-old man, which is effectively what I am today. Yeah. And he used to take us everywhere. Like
there's like boys. Yeah, look, there's a lot of weird shit that goes down. There's a lot of weird shit that goes down.
If we went back in time, a 40-year-old man drove me and D, 12 and 15, to a golf course, and we played 9 holes with him. Can you imagine playing 9 holes?
And
talk about customer service.
And no cell phone.
Yeah, so our parents, I mean, I don't.
Yeah. He would drop me off at home.
It's almost as weird as like picking up your phone in an app and having some old dude come take your child to school or something, right?
Yeah, that's
true. but yeah, I mean, so now obviously everyone sees these big headline numbers, and you guys have a podcast just dedicated to this.
Yep.
How, like, if I wanted to get into baseball cards again today, am I too late? How do I get in?
No, I don't think too late. There's just the question of like, you want to make a shitload of money? Like what does get into it mean, right? Like I look at your studio here, the setup, like the surfboard or like the little face thing that you got, the coffee table stand next to you. Like, is that because you like it? Is it because that artist is emerging and you know who he is and not many people do, and then all of a sudden a bunch of media is going to happen to him, and 14 months from now, like that surfboard's going to sell for quadruple? Is it because you like to go surfing and like just like that thing, and like people come on, you want to be like, hey, I like surf. Like there's so many different ways to be involved, right?
So would you say then baseball cards is heading in the way of art, where people buy art because they love it, but there's also obviously an underlying business opportunity in buying art.
Yeah.
Because like art to me is the biggest bullshit scam of all time.
Yep.
Right? Like there's nothing bigger scammier.
I think there's a complete subset of that, right? It's unregulated market, and like people with a lot of money, like they know how to say, okay, well, now that I have all this money, I'm just going to use it to make more money. Like those Sprout cards.
Yeah.
Right? Like people, they're printing cash like crazy. So if you're sitting on a lot of cash, you're like, okay, well, let me put it into some assets that there's no regulations around and I'm going to be in control of. There's definitely that aspect of like art, right? And then no different than, you know, if you were close to calls or you knew of calls super early and you bought a bunch of calls, it would then probably be in your interest to be like, let me get everyone to know who this dude is and make sure he's cool as shit.
Yeah.
And 15 years later, right? Then there's also the gambling aspect of it, which is like the ripping packs of cards.
Yep.
There's been degenerates around forever. Sports betting's been happening forever, but now it's becoming like okay to be a degenerate.
So explain to us what that is, just so for people that don't know.
Yeah. So I love blackjack, but in terms of buying a pack of like unopened cards, right? Like in this pack, this is made by Panini. There's a pack of soccer cards. It's sealed. They call it this wax, right? So in this pack of cards, there's a predetermined checklist of cards that are in this product. Now, there might be a 1-of-1 card that there's only one printed. There's maybe an of 25 of the hottest, young soccer player in the planet. I paid, just call it for whatever purposes, $250 for this. I could, in a sense, pull a card out of this that is worth $1,000. I could also pull out $25 worth of paper that means nothing. And for male degenerates, like, that's a real fucking thing. Like,
I mean, we did this at a much smaller scale when we were kids.
Yeah.
We would buy a box and pray we got the Ken Griffey Jr. Upper Deck 89 rookie card.
Yep. And then now there's another layer of, okay, I can then send it to this company that's going to grade it and say if it's a 10 or a 9. And if it's a 10, it's way more expensive than a 9. Or I could just sell it raw on eBay because someone else thinks they're smarter than the whole system and just buying up all the raw shit, and they live close to PSA and they can get quicker turnaround on the grading, etc.
So explain to me, like, I understand, okay, sports cards make a lot of sense to me because it's fanatical, right?
Yeah.
And you have this older audience with money that is fanatical about it.
Mm-hmm.
Then you start getting into like Pokemon, which I understand people are fanatical about it, but like are like 50-year-old men fanatical about Pokemon? I don't know.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
So like, is it just
but they're like, fanatical about money.
So is it because, but like, I'm trying to understand, like, does that, I mean, put, every card that was ever created now is up for grabs for this madness?
The madness that's going on within Pokemon cards, I think, is 80% people just being nostalgic and being like, oh, I like Pokemon. And there's some people that are in it to make some money on the flips. But when you boil it down to like the real, if you want to call it asset class of like 50-year-old men that if they invest right, the first edition, when they first released Pokemon, and we can get into it or not go deep, but when they first released Pokemon, there was like a first edition, like the first month or two of print run. That was very limited. Those cards in graded form, there's incredibly low supply, like 250 to 300. The first edition PSA Charizard, the one that Logic bought for like just under $250 million.
Yeah.
$250 million. $250 million.
You bought $250 million.
What am I doing on this podcast?
What the fuck is Logic?
Is it early?
There's I think 212 of them, and Pokemon is the biggest IP like in the world, and so it's just supply and demand. But then what happens is people see that, and then all of a sudden they start thinking every Charizard in the world is going to have long-term sustainable value, and they're just moving fast. It's like me. I buy Bitcoin. I don't fucking know the backward understanding of Bitcoin, but I'm like, I know a lot of people are getting into it, but over the long period of time, I don't know how it works. I really don't. I can't speak to like why, other than I believe that there's an immense amount of demand coming against the amount of cash that's being printed, and the world is moving a lot faster. And people that are in Bitcoin look like the people that I believe are going to take over. So I'm like, I'm going to go there.
That's a good enough rationale.
Yeah. So I want to actually bring back the art comparison because I'm a staunch believer. Art is the biggest scam that we have in kind of asset classes because A, it's completely arbitrary. B, it's used at the highest levels primarily for money laundering and for billionaires to hide assets and cash.
Yep.
And in third world countries, just like if you are very rich in a third world country, there is a more than zero chance that you either get run out of that country, you can get arrested, all your assets can be taken, and you literally have no say. This happens all the time. And these billionaires park it in art because you can leave with that. So if you get run out of your country, you can run out with a couple $100 million in artwork, flip it, and your life's fine. And what I
Baseball
like,
cards is easier. You throw it in your backpack and you're out of here.
right? It's like diamonds, right? Like a handful of diamonds, you can run out. But my point is, art is arbitrary on who the artist is and all this. No one actually has any fucking taste. Don't tell me Saudi princes are the new tastemakers of the world that are deciding which paintings.
I think you're racist.
Which are 400.
You're racist against Saudis.
Well, you gotta drop
Saudi
that line.
Arabia is not known for exporting culture.
They have the best taste.
But so when they decide to spend $500 million on a painting, that all of a sudden is the most expensive painting in the world.
Yeah.
So that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Reason why I like sports cards is because the underlying asset is an athlete that we actually can
Like our
watch.
shitty.
Yeah,
our
like-
shitty. So let me ask you a question, Tyler.
If Mike Trout comes out and he's part of a pedophilia ring, like, sorry that you bought that card for $1.2 million, but you ain't selling it for $1.2 million.
Oh,
Right.
so pedophilia baseball player cards are not.
That's the line.
Okay,
right now.
That's
At
the
least.
line.
Not right now.
What was it? What was the?
They should do a baseball cards of just pedophilia. Jeffrey Epstein, the whole guy.
No, but like you mentioned, Luka Doncic, who everyone knows is going to be one of the next great NBA players. If not, he's already like a top 5 player.
Yeah.
That I understand. Like I understand why a Luka Doncic card would be worth so much because he's 20 years old, 21 years old. He's as long as
You're
he's
betting on him.
Yes, to
being
have
great.
a great. Yes,
To be the guy.
yes.
It makes sense.
That makes sense to me, and I can actually. And if you think about it from how big of an asset class this could potentially be, off the books gambling in the United States is in the $250 to $400 billion range. I know it's a wide gap. That's because no one knows, it's not reported.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if you export that internationally with soccer and all this, it's a multi-trillion-dollar class.
Yep.
So why can't this be part of it?
Yeah. And you guys have probably seen the startups that come along. I think Spencer Dinwiddie was doing it where it's like they're selling shares of their contract. Like the amount of people that are like want to invest in an athlete, this has become that.
Yep.
And no different of if we weren't recording a conversation, we're just sitting there bullshitting about sports. All of a sudden you get into a heated conversation of like, Michael Porter Jr. is going to be the next Kevin Durant. It's like, no, Michael Porter Jr. sucks. He has a broken back. Like, who's going to be right? I don't know. Let me buy 10 Michael Porter Jr. cards, sit on them. And then if they're worth double, I'm going to laugh in your face 4 months from now.
Yeah, and
Like,
I think
dudes being dudes.
Yeah.
it's no different than what you're saying about gambling. Like, I mean, we have plenty of friends that gamble on everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
Election, sports, football, doesn't matter.
I mean,
and no, but I actually think it's super critical for the sports teams and franchises to figure out how to take a piece of this market in a big way.
Sure.
Because ratings are going to be decimated.
because then now you have a vested interest, like
Yes.
fantasy football.
Yeah.
They
Like
just need to do it in a way that like doesn't move so fast that they're like, oh, you only made it illegal because it was your benefit. And now because you can make money off of it, now it's legal. It's like that period of time where rich people need to fake the funk of like, nah, it wasn't a bad thing the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think what the card industry and everything about sports is, I don't think the interest in sports has actually declined. It's the interest in sports to watch for 3 hours at a sitting time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to know who won the Super Bowl, who won the NBA title, who won the World Series. No one wants to sit in front of their TV for 3.5 hours to find out.
But people have also sat around and watched all these highlights come out. now.
Exactly.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
So I'd rather go online and watch the highlights and catch the last minute of the game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I
I mean,
think that-
ESPN let go of 300 people today.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, that's why.
Yeah.
Because people don't go to ESPN for like the in-depth article about how Tom Brady performed last night.
Yeah, they'd rather see a show about gambling than a show about sports cards than a show about their wives.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, those are 3 hit shows for ESPN that they don't do today.
Wait, what do you mean?
For the content they show you on ESPN today is just the same thing I get on my phone.
Yeah, it's just 2 people yelling and screaming at each other all day.
Yeah, and it's talking about highlights.
Yeah.
If you talk
And their
about
app's not that good.
and then why don't you make a gambling show, like, and then you argue.
Well,
about,
that's what Barstool does.
Well, that's what I'm
right?
saying. ESPN, and then you do a show about sports cards. Then do a show like his podcast should be a segment on ESPN.
Yeah, there's like ESPN not figuring out sports cards is such a big part of sports right now, given just the hype. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
We see it everywhere. We know people that are actually getting into it.
Yeah.
And people are talking about it nonstop. Like, why is ESPN this slow to get to it?
And that's just the nature of today is like what change has now started happening so rapidly. Unless you build your business directly to be accustomed for change, you're just pretty much dead man walking.
Yeah.
So
Uber's biggest line of business isn't even picking up and dropping people off anymore.
Yeah.
It's food delivery.
It's delivering McDonald's.
It's because of a pandemic and no one's going anywhere. But
But still, like that, like that's crazy.
The second you heard McDonald's delivered, I was like, great. I'll be ordering that like 4 times a week.
Fire.
Just some parting words. So if someone wants to get into this, I mean, where should they start? Should they listen to your podcast? Obviously, they should listen to your podcast.
Yep. You could definitely listen to the podcast, which I approach, like, I think this whole thing, for me, again, is educational purposes. I do believe between the two of you guys being in sports cards when you were 12, 13, 14 has helped or put you on the path to operating your own businesses now in a real way.
Yeah.
That's how I think about the card stuff. I think there's a lot of good resources out there. We put out articles self-promo wise, but 1:37 p.m. Card Talk Pod, we put out content. Adam Lefkoe's into it big now. He takes a similar approach. That's not just like, pump this card, buy this, sell this. It's like educational aspect. Gary puts out some content. cardladder.com is one of my favorite tools. It's just pretty much you can log in and you can type in a card. It'll tell you how much it cost. It'll give you all the recent sales data going back X amount of months. Most of the buying and selling is happening on eBay, but also StockX. They present the information very simply. If you want to get into it, my first thing is, why do you want to get into it? Do you want to make money? Do you want a way of, tapping into your sports fandom? Are you into football, basketball, soccer? Because most people are like, yeah, I want to get into it. I'm like, okay, do you like basketball or football? No, I don't watch either. All right, well then, 4 days from now, you're probably not going to still be interested in this thing. So like, let's find what is going to get you there.
Yeah.
And then it's just a game of supply and demand and understanding consumer shifts and trends. And like, if you've been paying attention to the world in the way that I pay attention to the world, you have somewhere has hit your radar that like, why are people talking about Pokemon all of a sudden right now? Right. So then you can double click into that and be like, okay, are there some Pokemon cards that I can purchase? Go to Card Ladder, go to eBay, see which haven't gone up 150% already. Why is that? So I think always just spend time researching and tap into why you're doing it.
I have 2 last questions. One, can you give us 2 under the radar names in basketball and football, because those are my 2 favorite sports, of athletes that you think there's value because it could potentially skyrocket? So obviously Luka, Zion, I get.
Yep.
They're already superstars.
Who
like?
So this is a personal opinion.
Yeah.
I really do believe in Michael Porter Jr. As a basketball player, because when I look at him, his body makeup, obviously he was hurt, but he was hurt 2 years ago. And I think they've put a lot of time into allowing him to be healthy before they just throw him out there. His card sells for about $180 right now, which is on the low side compared to like, I believe Trae Young is going for around $500. He's also incredibly electric. And I do think that if I wasn't going to say Michael Porter Jr., I'd probably say Trae Young. Because I think he's going to be like a face of the league type guy. Atlanta's very cultural. Sure. They only have a place to go but up as a franchise, and he would be that guy. Whereas Luka trades at like $1,200
Right.
steadily right now. So I would look at Michael Porter Jr. and Trae Young. Michael Porter Jr. higher risk, higher reward. Trae Young more down the middle, less conservative, but more conservative. And then football, for me, I think Russell Wilson is like an all-time
I love Russell Wilson.
all-time player. And he hasn't won his MVP yet. He will. He now has like my favorite athlete in all of sports.
DK
Dude is absolutely unreal. That's a good franchise. That's a good organization. Like they're not going to all of a sudden just start fucking shit up. Pete Carroll's a beast. They run that thing well. Hopefully they get their fans back. That's always been good for them. So I would look at Russell Wilson because I think he's got, I don't know, 3 Super Bowls. That big thing just came out this week that he spends $1 million a year on himself.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, I can fuck with that. I think that's what I would say. Michael Porter Jr., Trae Young, and Russell Wilson.
Great. And last question. Vegas Dave was famously the one who flipped the Mike Trout card. Is he considered a joke in the card industry? Because he's considered a joke in the gambling industry.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I would say so, but like, I don't know. I'm not selling a card for $1.2 million. So that's like a different air. I think it's more of like, I know he's considered a joke in the gambling industry. I don't know other than the fucking headline, but I've never come across him. I don't think he plays in the industry much. I think he made a couple, to your point, like Saudi Arabia art purchases and flipped them to whoever the buyer is and, created some PR against it and away you go. He might have owned the card back by now. I don't know.
Yeah, it might have just been for PR.
Yeah.
That's true.
That definitely occurs.
It's been a fake transaction.
Yeah. Who's the buyer?
It's unregulated.
Yeah, we don't know. I'm going to say I bought something for $10 million.
No, you sold it for $10 million.
I want to say I bought it because that means I have.
Exactly. Yep.
That's
stick it right next to you on the coffee table.
Yeah, just sitting there without a protector on.
Yep. Exactly.
Cool, man. Well, thank you so much for stopping by. This is really informative. I know a lot of people have asked us about baseball cards or cards in general, so appreciate you enlightening us. And podcasts wherever all podcasts are found.
Yep. Card Talk Pod.
And then what's your handle on social media? People ask you a question.
Instagram @Tyler. You can hit me up there.
Just one word.
One word.
Wow. You must be famous.
Wow.
I could use a blue check if anyone knows where they're selling on the underground market for.
Maybe you could trade a card for it.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of Facebook.
I'll get to work on that.
Listeners here.
Yeah. There we go. Well, keep doing your thing, guys. I appreciate you having me. This has been fun.
Thanks for jumping on.
No doubt. Talk soon, boys.
All right. Before we wrap it up, this is our As Seen on Social episode. Each week, we talk about one thing we've seen on social media that we think everyone needs to hear about. D, what do you got?
I got a couple things here.
Okay.
The first one is, Donald Trump tweeted on November 7th, I won this election by a lot.
Yeah. Big tweet.
And I just got this sent to me on Twitter. And it's from God. God responded to Donald Trump.
Whoa.
Oh.
Wow, what a lucky guy.
He goes, no, you lost. You're a loser. You're a huge loser. You're the biggest loser the world has ever known. You are many other negative things, but above all, you are the ultimate loser.
Wow.
From God.
Who knew
Pretty
God
interesting.
was so aggressive?
Very aggressive. And then the other As Seen on Social was a guy named Dean Browning. Anthony just sent me this. This is really, really funny. Can you look up who Dean Browning is while I just read this tweet? He is a genius. He tweeted out, what Trump built in 4 years, Biden will destroy in 4 months. Then this guy responded to him, Dunks5, says, you mean what Obama built in 8 years, Trump trying to take credit for the first 3 years. Trump destroyed in 3 months with the help from the Trump virus. Biden now has to rid the country of the Trump virus. Stay away from the drugs, Dean. You're clearly high. Okay? Typical Twitter beef.
It. Yeah, a little back and forth.
Then Dean Browning fights back with the tweet.
The return of Mean Dean.
Yes. You know what he says? I'm a black gay guy, and I can personally say that Obama did nothing for me. My life only changed a little bit, and it was for the worse. Everything is so much better under Trump, though. I feel respected, which I never do when Democrats are involved.
This is fake.
He forgot to sign into the burner account.
No.
Yeah, he probably has a burner account and wanted to tweet that.
Wait,
Instead,
who's Dean?
He lost the Republican nomination for a congressional seat in Pennsylvania.
Is he a white guy?
White guy.
Yeah. Just like a regular looking white guy.
He's like what you would think a white guy in Pennsylvania looks like.
Yeah.
Drama is in disbelief.
Yeah.
He hasn't said a word.
Dumbfounded. You're telling me this white guy, this white politician guy wrote, "I'm a gay black man."
How good is that?
And you had a whole exchange not realizing you weren't on the burner on the Kevin Durant account?
Yeah.
Oh my God. So this is obviously just the talk of the net.
Oh, yeah.
That was from Anthony?
Yeah.
Anthony had to love that.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I don't want to like.
Dummies.
It's really funny.
They're dummies, man. I don't ever like to say like such a large group of people is one thing, but it just feels like every time you get these stories of like how people justify like the Trump thing, there's a lot of that.
Yeah.
This is a politician. This isn't some no-name guy in his mom's basement.
Right.
This is what you're up against.
The thought of a white politician man saying, "I'm a gay black man and Trump did so much for me," is insane.
This is the blind loyalty people have to Donald Trump or Trumpism.
It's also the problem, like when you try to fight this type of just bullshit along with all the like bots and like whenever, every now and then when I'm really bored and in a good mood, so you can't really hurt me, I click on a Trump tweet to just see what people say.
Yeah.
And there's just so many bots. There's so many Trump bots, you know? And like the new trend going around is people saying, "I can't take this. I'm not living in a country under Trump. I'm moving to Hawaii."
Yeah.
Like that's the like,
Right.
you know, and there's just so much shit. I don't know. I guess it probably exists under the Democratic umbrella too, but it just feels like something about the Trumpism really attracts the fake gay black man.
Unbelievable.
You know?
Lady G.
Oh my
I can't wait till
God.
Lady G does this. Imagine what's coming out of him when he's sashaying
Imagine
down
what's going into him.
Georgetown in his dress.
Can you imagine? Someone's getting a pick.
Oh, yeah.
So if you rewind politics, I think it was the 2000 election or 2004. 2004, I think. There was a guy named Howard Dean who was a governor.
Yeah.
Who was the front runner for the Democratic nomination, just was gaining all this steam. His campaign torpedoed because of one thing, one night. What do you think that was? He screamed. He was too loud.
Yeah,
We're going to go to New York. We're going to go to Texas.
That was his like critical error. Yeah. He was too energized.
Yeah.
And they apparently, if you go back in history, apparently like there was a problem with the mics that was amplifying the sound, so the country got scared of a guy screaming.
Yeah.
And he lost.
And he lost.
I mean, how about the girl screaming? Who's that? Is that Don Jr.'s girlfriend? Who's the guy who was Gavin Newsom's girlfriend that screamed, "We're gonna make America great again"? Remember that?
Yeah, I think it's Don's.
Right? It's one of the sons or whatever's girlfriend who used to date or be married to Gavin Newsom. And she was at the Trump rally screaming. And like everyone was like, "All right, sick." I don't know. Oh my God. Okay, Anand, what's yours?
R.I.P. Alex Trebek.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
He died at the age of 80 from prostate cancer. And you just saw on Twitter how much of an impact Jeopardy had on people.
Yeah.
It was every night. One of the contestants had this emotional speech to Alex on a show of Jeopardy that he learned English because of Alex Trebek and watching Jeopardy every day.
Yeah.
So he was a staple in American like life.
He's a legend. I think any of those time periods where you only had a few options for TV and the whole family gathered around, like there's a special connection to that.
Yeah.
You know? Okay. Mine is also kind of a sad one, but we didn't talk about it, but big, you know, news in the young music world. King Von
Yeah, I saw that.
was shot and killed in Atlanta. And King Von was really like a rising star.
Wow.
With a lot of promise, but from a very rough background. Grew up with Lil Durk, was Lil Durk's right hand, who we worked with a lot on Young and Reckless. And
he was young too, right? How old was he?
26.
Damn.
Yeah, I saw LeBron posted him.
LeBron posted because he had a song called LeVon James.
Yeah, that's hot. I just listened to it today.
Yeah, and he was a really good storyteller and whatever. But just really promising career.
That's sad.
was shot over a fist fight with another rapper.
Oh man.
Yeah, they were literally fighting each other, and the one friend just came out and shot him point blank.
I think the violence is really bad.
Yeah, I think it's bad in Atlanta too. And these kids are from Chicago, where that violence is like crazy bad. I mean, this kid, part of the reason why a lot of young people like him is because his storytelling, and he has a lot of charges, and supposedly is very involved in the street life, and people like the realness of that. But he definitely wasn't. He was definitely the real deal. But it seems like Atlanta's really violent right now too. It feels like violence in general, but violence in the rap world. I remember there was like a time, I feel like the 90s were kind of pretty violent. And then it seemed like there was like a window where it was like, nothing really happens anymore. Like, maybe in the studio people are fighting and there's these things you don't hear about. But it feels like now there's a lot of shootings and stuff.
I think specifically in Atlanta, it's probably worse than it's ever been.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
From whatever we hear.
Yeah. Okay, well anyway, big bummer. And so I just went deep on social media about King Von and his history and the stories and all that stuff. So yeah, bummer there.
Okay.
We got a couple shout outs.
Yeah.
What do we got?
Pete, you don't have any. It's just all me now.
Pete,
huh?
I mean, come on.
Yeah, because you completely ridded our email system. So now we get none in our email, which is great because then we don't miss any. So I will report as none missing.
Okay. So the shout out we have today is Jorge Pimento. Shout out from, I think it's his wife. I don't know if his wife or his girlfriend. Anniversary is on November 11th. And wanted to get him a shout out for his birthday, which was in September. So she's trying to make up for it with a happy anniversary, November 11th. 11/11. That's good, right? That's lucky.
Feels lucky to me.
That is lucky. Yep.
That is lucky.
Yep.
And then we have another one from for Max and Jessica Hegard. They are longtime listeners. He actually built the LED sign in the YNR office.
Oh, well, hell yeah.
Yeah. So cold email drama and traded him some social shout outs.
That is what happened.
And some cash and made it happen.
It worked, man. Talk about hustling on the social media.
Yeah. And Max is a member of Menlo Club. He's a big
love
fan
Max.
of all the brands.
Yeah,
Max is a great guy.
fam. Part of the fam.
Yeah, part of the fam. So Max and Jessica, longtime Kathy's. Shout out to you guys. And thanks for all your support. And are we hyping up our merch?
Yeah, we'll do it at the intro, but we'll do it here too and in the mid-roll.
Okay. All right.
We just did a photo
there you go.
shoot. I just did a fucking photo shoot. I'll tell you that much. I haven't done that in years.
Yeah.
So I was wrong.
There are shout outs.
I have 5 shots.
Oh,
no.
Pete has 5 shout outs.
Oh my God.
Let's fire rapid through these. Boom. First, we have Jake Dowkis. That's a fucking weird last name.
You just made noises with your mouth.
Sorry, Jake from New York. DWORKIS.
Sure, Dubkey.
Dowkis. Okay, well, Jake, happy birthday. Huge fan of the pod, guys. I actually met you in New York when you were up here a few years back in Manhattan, he says. But tomorrow, November 10th, which is today, actually, it's his 30th birthday. So happy birthday to you, Jake. Moving on to Austin Weiss. Austin from New Hartford, New York. A lot of New York East Coast guys getting the shout outs. We have shout out to D and anyone else involved in the GRC team. I was so excited to go by for the 241. He completely forgot to use the group chat code. So he just straight up bought, but luckily the team fixed it for him and he still got to use it. He is absolutely stoked for the virtual half marathon.
Nice.
Going on at grandrunningclub.com and for the 2-for-1 pants going on.
2-for-1 pants are the move.
The move. You have to do an everyday pant. It's your pant for every day. Love them. Wear them all day, every day. Then we move on to Donald Boyd. Got that one right.
Yeah.
His very white name. So I'm very good at those
I think
things.
he's black because I talked to him on Instagram.
Oh, yeah, dang it. He is black.
Way to go, Pete.
That's pretty good.
Way to go. You only see the world through your white eyes.
Yeah, the Donald? Okay.
Donald? Look at our, who's our president? The king of the whites.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Anywho, Donald, sorry about that one, but from Downey, California, he wants to wish his best friend, his love, his business partner, and his wife, current fiance, so future wife, Giselle Garcia. A big happy birthday.
Are they married or not married?
No. So future wife, sorry, currently a fiance.
Okay.
I'm whipping through these fast. Also,
Sounds
a little
white.
PS.
Sounds
that
white to me.
Just so we know we're not not one-sided here. PS Pete's an idiot. So thanks for that one, buddy.
That's what he said.
Yes.
Okay,
After that
good.
intro, I deserve that one.
That's fine.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Okay, moving back down to Jen. She decided
white.
to just throw a big one in here. Jen from Chicago. Hey guys, thank you for all the awesome content you guys create over the pod. Group chat is awesome. I always look forward to seeing it. So thank you. I would like to do a birthday shout out for one of my closest friends, Eric Diaz. His birthday is on November 10th. Eric is a total Kathy, and he's turned me onto the pod last year.
Nice. Shout out, Eric.
Hell yeah,
So shout out to
Jen.
them. They also requested a personal shout out from me. They paid me $1 to do a video
Wow.
that I sent an email over
You
to
should do a
them.
Cameo?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're like, how
that's
much
good.
do I have to pay you? I said, Venmo me $1 right now. And I'm rich.
And I'm in it, so you should
Yes.
send me like
I mean, if
50
you do
cents.
300 or so of those,
Yeah.
Data Dog problem is not
Dad-
a
Daddy
problem.
Dog's back,
I bet
man.
you if you went on Cameo and did it for $1.
You know what? Fuck Cameo because they're going to take a percentage. You go ahead and DM me. I got a
Okay.
Venmo.
Oh yeah,
Go
that's
right to the
a good idea.
Venmo.
You got a Venmo and an iMessage account.
Yeah.
It's not difficult. I just
There's your
emailed it over.
Cameo. Yeah.
Boom, paid.
Okay.
So if you want a shout out from me in a Cameo, I'm going to raise the price. But you too can get a shout out
Yeah.
on
Okay.
video if you want it. And then lastly, but not least, Nate Mora from Salinas, California. Been a Kathy since day one. Best podcast ever. I want to shout out my girlfriend, Lisa Stout, who's a Kathy as well. We just had our second baby, Marcelo, on November 1st. She's an amazing mother, and I can't wait to raise our 2 boys together.
November 1st. That's fresh.
And shout out to number 1, all of our female Kathys.
Yes, they are strong.
Really fuck with you guys. And also, super shout out to all the couples that listen together.
Yeah.
You know, like what other podcast can
right.
you both listen to?
Fine,
Usually-
Joe
I have a
Rogan.
bone to pick. We're
Please.
getting robbed of a download.
Ooh.
That's true.
No,
See?
now-
You don't get those stats.
Okay, so couples, here's what we need you to do. While one listens, whoever has the aux cord,
Play it on off.
The other one plays it audio down.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay, let's be fair here.
And here's what they really say. Families that listen to group chat together, stay together.
They
So
do
if you don't
say
want it
that.
to be a divorced family, that listen to group chat.
You don't
you
want
want
a
a
divorce?
divorce?
Listen to group chat. Yeah, I like that. I think there's very few pods that usually the ladies go off and they have their content. The men go
Yeah.
off and listen to some sports or whatever.
Yep.
We got you both.
There you go.
Okay.
So the merch real quick, Group Chat University. Let's just plug that. I mean, if you've made it this far, you're most likely one of the ones who are going to actually buy it.
Yep.
Because we're almost at 2 hours on this episode as well. So
You made that up.
no, well,
Yeah, we are.
included with the interview. Yes.
Oh.
Right.
Shit, if you made it this far.
You better buy something.
Yeah.
Yes. We'll get a special code for everybody soon enough, but on Friday, we'll preview everything on Friday. We're releasing Group Chat University over at thementalhouse.com. We collabed with Melrose Place, so the blanks are exceptional.
And let's be honest, you learn more here than that whatever shitty college
Yeah.
you went to.
Yeah.
And you probably bought some merch from your own.
Yeah.
and guess
yeah.
what? This was free. That cost $40,000 a year.
Yeah.
That sweatshirt, not that
Yeah.
expensive.
This is how we gotta pay teachers more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Including us.
Exactly. So head over there. We have 2 sweatshirts and 2 tees available. Don't miss out. Check those out. They'll be all across our socials. So if you want to see them before or on the website.
And personally
Catch
modeled by the group chat team.
Yeah. I mean, we don't really have a budget for
No,
real
no.
models.
We're still at that startup.
and
phase.
nobody else would sell.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah. You gotta do it all yourself.
Yes.
Okay. There it is, guys. I hope everyone loved it. Make sure you go sign up for that Grand Running Club half marathon.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We got a goal to hit here.
Yep.
And make sure you head over to Melrose Street Journal, subscribe to the newsletter.
Dang right.
We'll see you on Thursday night.
Do it.
Bye-bye.